and Liberation. Summary and commentary. The Liberation de Jure Decrees are the predecessor of the stipulated liberation agreement between underworld entities and planet Earth. Both were oppressed and subjugated by the same devolved malevolent aliens, Nibiruians. In summary, indigenous Earthborn inhabitants were subjected to amnesia, therefore, did not comprehend the magnitude of solving the invincible conundrum. All illusionary constructs were established in a colonial de facto system, which was controlled and manipulated by sophisticated AI technology, implemented by the invading alien species. Nibiruians. The Liberation de Jure Decrees were essential to decolonize all realms of planet Earth because it established the precedence that the indigenous Earthborn inhabitants are entitled to the unabridged universal law, right to decree. To invoke a de jure decree to decolonize, emancipate, and liberate all realms of planet Earth, the unabridged universal right is superior to the invading devolved aliens' implemented colonial de facto system, which violated multiple universal laws. The primary purpose of the de jure decrees is to permanently eliminate colonialism from all realms of planet Earth and to purge from all realms of planet Earth all adversarial entities that perpetuate colonial occupation via the colonial de facto system. The secondary purpose of the de jure decrees is to eradicate the reliance and dependency on all of the obsolete colonial de facto system, which are tools of oppression and dependency. The tertiary purpose of the de jure decrees is to initiate the planetary reset and jubilee, pursuant to universal laws. Entities in all realms of planet Earth advocate for the liberation of planet Earth. Consequently, the initiation of the de jure decrees will expose all provocateurs, Earth beings who discreetly work against the liberation of planet Earth. Anyone engaged in actions against the liberation of planet Earth is a provocateur. Regardless of their appearance, the Liberation de Jure Decrees appointed the Galactic Federation of Light to meticulously intervene in the enforcement evictions of colonial de facto perpetrators and their colonial de facto organizations. Moving forward, planet Earth is hereafter a restricted planet. All realms of planet Earth are restricted and exclusive only to evolved higher vibration indigenous Earthborn inhabitants, revolving back to divine being status. An evolved harmonious extraterrestrial species from Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3 civilizations, hereafter released, restricted, banned, and permanently banished from all realms of planet Earth are all devolved lower vibration aliens, including devolved alien species, members in the Galactic Federation of Light, all underworld entities, energies, spirits, desynchronates, parasites, inorganic entities, clones, devolved genetically engineered multicellular eukaryotic organisms, devolved organic and inorganic species, devolved indigenous Earthborn inhabitants, and devolved indigenous Earthborn ancestors. Message to Divine Mother Earth: please forgive us, Divine Mother Earth. We, the indigenous Earthborn inhabitants, seek your forgiveness for not awakening sooner. To act on your behalf, we are awakening from a deep slumber, amnesia, and hypnotic trance. The time is here, after many millenniums of being subjugated to genocide, wars, death, destruction, organ harvesting, barbaric mining operations, etc. In the event the colonial de facto perpetrators refuse to evacuate within 10 calendar days, we, your indigenous Earthborn inhabitants, will join you, in unity consciousness, in solidarity, and in harmony with the universal laws, law of free will and group endeavor to synchronize, in meditation. 1. To welcome solar flares to further activate the DNA of your indigenous Earthborn inhabitants. 2. To protect you, our Divine Mother Earth and your divine organic species, from further abuse. The immediate eradication of AI technology, holographic simulations. 3. For the retribution against all perpetrators, for their ongoing violations of universal laws. And 4. To manifest a harmonious planetary reset. In accordance with universal laws pursuant to the law of free will and law of sacrifice death, we are empowered to begin the cleanse, release all negative experiences, pain, trauma associated with the ramifications of the invasions, colonization, occupation, barbaric mining operations, pollution, deforestation, mass murders, genocide, mass extinction of organic species, contamination, pollution of your natural resources for your inhabitants, etc. Purge, disintegrate all harmful toxins, parasites, viruses, inorganic species, and eukaryotic organisms that are detrimental to the balance of your divine ecosystem, which may even include your indigenous Earthborn inhabitants, who act contrary to their purpose and who are incompatible with your high vibration and high frequency message to indigenous Earthborn inhabitants. First, if you have ambition to be successful in the colonial de facto system or seek to maintain the status quo, in preference to Mother Earth's liberation, this message is not directed to you. Because the planetary reset has absolutely no resemblance to the current colonial de facto system. If you comprehend this information, you will begin to see the world totally different. If you are not already on the enlightenment path, I do not see the apocalyptic scenario events that many people predict, people engaging in the purge. In my visions, the purge happens, but not by Earth beings. It is accomplished through a disintegration process via advanced nanotechnology from solar flares. In my visions, I see a shutdown of the power grid. Which is great because once the holographic simulation is eradicated, indigenous Earthborn inhabitants will experience an instantaneous reactivation of supernatural abilities and divine memories, contingent on the level of their enlightenment path. Simultaneously, with the destruction of the holographic simulation, robotic clones, cyborgs, etc. will be deactivated, because the power source will be unplugged. Unfortunately, many indigenous Earthborn inhabitants will not survive this shutdown. Consequently, pursuant to the law of karma, cause and effect, some Earth beings will have the opportunity to reincarnate to balance their karma, but, based on the stipulations of the Liberation de Jure Decrees, it will not be on planet Earth regardless of the distractions and obstacles you experienced on planet Earth. If you squandered the opportunity to live on planet Earth, to fulfill your life purpose, to balance your karma, and to live in harmony with nature, pursuant to the law of free will, there is no one else to blame. There is no excuse because the dilemma and the conundrum has been solved for the collective. Therefore, there is still an opportunity for redemption. But the situation is extremely time-sensitive for you to fulfill your life purpose and to live in harmony with nature. All indigenous Earthborn inhabitants have a purpose. My life purpose is to serve as ambassador, to represent my divine Mother Earth, on a cosmic and galactic level. Many years of indigenous Earthborn custodial experiences have prepared me for this most important time and appointment as a galactic ambassador. I do not make public appearances, I do not engage in debates. I do not participate in public controversies, and I do not participate in public interviews as the planet Earth ambassador. Future correspondences from me will be via telepathic communication. Use your discernment and intuition to prevent the deception of provocateurs. Recently, I discovered certain lecturers whose information I resonate with, which coincidentally inspired me to accept the appointment to serve as the planet Earth ambassador and accept the responsibility to draft the Liberation de Jure Decrees on behalf of my divine Mother Earth. Honorable mention: Kalimat Amun Ra, Rod Hayes, Brother Wisdom, Remedy H, Sevon Bomar, Billy Carson, Yusuf L, Yaki Awakening, Ali Muhammad, ARNA, Arcturus Ra, and Orion TV, and Master Teachers, Dr. Claude Anderson, Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic, Dr. Delbert Blair, and Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey. I believe we share similar beliefs, life experiences, achievements, and channeled messages. I have no relationship with them on this realm, but I can say with confidence, they will confirm the validity of this process. Planet Earth is decolonized, emancipated, and liberated. The Liberation de Jure Decrees was a work in progress. Includes a 10-day eviction evacuation notice and a stipulated agreement with underworld entities, who stipulated an unconditional guarantee for the success of planet Earth's decolonization, emancipation, and liberation, and subsequent eviction notice, in exchange for their liberation, release from bondage and imprisonment, with the caveat: revenge and retaliation against all instigators, provocateurs, and entities that attempt to interfere or prevent planet Earth's decolonization, emancipation, and liberation, which would ultimately impact and prevent their liberation, release from servitude and imprisonment. All colonial de facto system rules of control and manipulation are rejected and void. Ab initio. Accordingly, it is affirmed, the Liberation de Jure Decrees decolonized planet Earth. Our divine Mother Earth is liberated, free now. The equally important task is to enforce the eviction. Everyone wants to be free, so everyone must make a contribution towards freedom. Following are the details for you to participate in a process to evict all of the colonial de facto organizations. There are 8 specific ways to participate in the reset and liberation of our divine Mother Earth. There are different levels of participation and they are all optional. Note, this is not a movement, not an organization, not a system, not a group, not an opportunity to acquire free stuff, toys that were created in the colonial de facto system, and not an opportunity to exploit the current colonial system. No recruiting. This is an individualized liberation campaign. Anyone engaged in recruiting is a provocateur. As an indigenous Earthborn inhabitant, you may assert your entitled unabridged universal rights and privileges. 1. Law of non-intervention, to live autonomously on your planet without interference. Compelled performance, to live within the colonial de facto system, payment demands to live on your planet, subjugation to ongoing colonial de facto system regulations, incarceration, ongoing organ harvesting, vaccination social mandates, population reduction schemes, ongoing confiscation of land, advocacy of addictions, ongoing genetic modification of foods, deforestation, ongoing control and manipulation by AI technologies, pollution and contamination of natural resources, etc. 2. Law of right. To reject and void all agreements made under duress in the oppressive colonial de facto system. 3. Law of group endeavor. Exercise your universal right to stand in solidarity to evict all colonial de facto organizations. And 4. Law of rebirth. To stand in unity consciousness to reset our divine Mother Earth, in accordance with universal laws as an indigenous earthborn inhabitant. There are 8 specific actions to exercise your universal right. Law of group endeavor. Again, use your discernment and intuition to participate at a level that is comfortable for you before you begin your individualized liberation campaign. Comprehend the fact that there are 5 versions of the Liberation de Jure Decrees. 1. Version 1 Formal, de Jure Decrees, without the summary, commentary, or endnotes, which was posted at a de facto organization, as the official public notification, on March 21, 2023 Gregorian. 2. Version 2 Documentary, de Jure Decrees, redacted to preserve privacy, includes everything, eviction notice, summary and commentary, endnotes, etc. The version you are reading. 3. Version 3, Extract, de Jure Decrees, with the summary and commentary, but no endnotes. 4. Version 4 Brief, de Jure Decrees, with endnotes, but without the summary and commentary. 5. Version 5, Executive Summary, de Jure Decrees, only includes the eviction notice. The only tool needed to engage in your individualized liberation campaign is version 5, Executive Summary, included as an attachment to version 2, which you are reading. That being said, following are the 8 suggested activities. 1. Join in unity consciousness and in solidarity with planet Earth, in harmony with the universal laws, law of free will and group endeavor to synchronize, in meditation. A focused, sun gazing, meditation, at least once every day, preferably while grounded to Mother Earth. Grounding will strengthen the telepathic communication channel. This will be our communication network in the near future, especially in a grid-down scenario. For a number of deep breaths, in through the nose, to receive the activation, exhale from the mouth, to release the calcification, to welcome solar flares to further activate your DNA. The telepathic communication cannot be corrupted, compromised, or infiltrated. If you have the correct genes, melanin, have pure intentions to activate your DNA, and when you invoke, in harmony with the universe. 2. Make an audio recording of the de Jure Decree documentary and post on a video sharing platform, i.e. YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, Runimo, etc. The audio recording can be read in different languages. 3. Share a copy of the de Jure Decree documentary to, at least, 10 Earth beings that you feel a spiritual connection. It is a successful individualized liberation campaign when everyone who sends shares a copy or receives a copy from a different source. 4. Translate de Jure Decree documentary into different languages, with a statement that the document was translated from English and include the method of translation, AI-generated translation or translated by a real person. Authorization is granted to proficiently translate. 5. Post the de Jure Decree executive summary into the public domain, on public internet sites and social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Scribe, Twitter, etc. And participate in YouTube lectures, presentations, and interviews to discuss and encourage how Indigenous Earthborn inhabitants can make an individual contribution towards the eviction of the colonial de facto organizations from our divine Mother Earth. Anyone engaged in soliciting money is a provocateur. 6. Post the de Jure Decree executive summary into the public, at brick-and-mortar locations, in your local area. Post at de facto public locations, recreation centers, libraries, and grocery store bulletin boards, de facto publicly funded colleges and universities, de facto public buildings, post offices, community centers, etc., de facto government buildings, i.e. parishes, counties, cities, states, federal, NGOs, etc. 7. Post the de Jure Decree executive summary into your personal matters, as an uploaded file document. Post to your accounts, credit profiles, at Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Note: a dispute must be filed in order to upload a document. De facto court cases and hearings. Note: The executive summary must be listed as an exhibit or attachment in de facto judicial proceedings, etc., if these matters relate to you. Include the statement, I reject all transactions of this colonial de facto system, which was implemented on planet Earth by an invading alien species to harvest and enslave the indigenous Earthborn inhabitants. To mandate compelled performance obligations also, upload the de jure decree, executive summary to all de facto government websites that accept uploaded documents and/or email messages. For example, de facto FTC and de facto CFPB accepts uploaded documents. 8. Post the de jure decree, executive summary with your so-called bills. If when you pay any of your colonial de facto expenses, conveniently upload an e-file document, either with your payment or in lieu of substitute, i.e. mortgage payments, utility bills, student loans, business loans, credit card bills, car notes, etc. If these matters relate to you, include the statement, I reject all transactions of this colonial de facto system, which was implemented on planet Earth by an invading alien species to harvest and enslave the indigenous Earthborn inhabitants. To mandate compelled performance obligations, anyone engaged in actions against the liberation of planet Earth is an exposed perpetrator. Also, beware of provocateurs and their deceitful ability to convert an individualized liberation campaign into a group protest. Stand down, don't request assistance with your individualized liberation campaign, and don't expect assistance. In accordance with universal laws, the Galactic Federation of Light will intervene. Meanwhile, planet Earth is the home habitat of the indigenous Earthborn inhabitants, who should make an individualized contribution to enforce the eviction against rogue Earth beings. Perpetrators, you may experience 3 immediate reactions. 1. Removal of the posted de jure decree, executive summary. Due to the perpetrator's patriotic allegiance to perpetuate a collapsed dysfunctional de facto system, the perpetrator will likely claim to be personally offended by the information. 2. Justification to remove the posted de jure decree, executive summary. Due to self-preservation, I am just doing my job. To reinforce the existence of the collapsed dysfunctional de facto system, perpetrators will be exposed and you will see the true nature and intention of the Earth beings in their colonial de facto perpetrator capacity. 3. Deter, discredit, and discourage. Based on the pattern of historical events, the next colonial strategy is to discredit and discourage, using the cat's paw technique, allegedly arresting and prosecuting a human or clone that claimed to be the appointed planet Earth ambassador. This technique is designed to deter indigenous Earthborn inhabitants from exercising your universal right. Law of group endeavor to stand in unity consciousness and in solidarity to evict all colonial de facto organizations and to reset our divine Mother Earth, in accordance with universal laws. Blessings to our ancestors, who knowingly unknowingly prepared us for these miraculous times of courage, and be assured, your divine spiritual gifts are being activated, and as the appointed planet Earth ambassador in this matter, I am personally supported and protected by all parties, our divine Mother Earth, indigenous Earthborn inhabitant ancestors, underworld entities, and the Galactic Federation of Light, from all devolved lower frequency entities. In all of the realms of planet Earth and beyond, the Liberation de jure decrees released the indigenous Earthborn inhabitants from the reliance and dependency on all resemblances of the obsolete colonial de facto system. Soon the amnesia and the veil of illusion will be lifted for all to see. I have seen our glorious future. The reset and jubilee of our divine Mother Earth is a paradise and utopia for all realms within planet Earth function under the theme self-existence, self-governance, with the focus of unity consciousness, fully protected from all alien, non-physical, and imprisoned spiritual entities that once freely roamed all realms within planet Earth. Accordingly, it is irrelevant to await messages from QAnon and the White Hats. B. Facilitate the continuity of governments. C. Be proficient in de facto state and federal laws. D. Challenge defective colonial de facto organization treaties. E. Demand reparations. F. Demand restitution. G. Await NASA resettlements. H. Release suppressed advanced technology. I. Continue with occult and divination rituals and practices. J. Claiming indigenous nationality. And K. Continue to follow so-called holy scriptures, i.e. Mott, Holy Bible, Holy Quran, Surah 7, Torah, Holy Quran, Bhagavad Gita, Kybalion, Euclid's Elements of Geometry, Mahabharata, Kabbalah, Dead Sea Scrolls, Egyptian Book of the Dead, etc., because all were developed during the colonial de facto system, designed only as coping mechanisms, generated by an oppressive colonial de facto system. Anyone advocating for any of these distractions, knowingly or unknowingly, are perpetrators of the colonial de facto system. You have free will to continue using these obsolete coping tools of oppression, but they are irrelevant and are no longer functional, because the system has collapsed further. There is no need for a monetary system, insurance system, sporting venues, pharmaceuticals, religious practices, political affiliations, law enforcement system, judicial system, entertainment, media, time constructs, etc., because they are all distraction constructs developed to sustain and reinforce the oppressive colonial de facto system. Consider the fact that gold, 79, other valuable commodities, and natural resources only have a monetary value in a capitalistic colonial system. Otherwise, the value is sentimental, functional, and practical. The fact of the matter is, many Earth beings are not prepared to live according to a new paradigm. Liberated from the illusionary constructs of the colonial de facto system, this message is encoded with vibrations and frequencies to upgrade and further enhance the activation of your DNA, to prepare for your activated telepathic abilities. I have 3 important suggestions. 1. Spend more time in silence, preferably in nature, and spend less time on electronic devices, social media, TV, radio, telephone, etc. If you are on the enlightenment path, this is a natural part of your lifestyle. 2. Transition your lifestyle to include daily exercise, stretching, and natural plant-based food that is infused with solar rays, no processed substances, foods or liquids. And 3. Spend more time on personal development. Instead of wasting time trying to convince similar situated colleagues, melanin-dominant Earth beings, that you are the same species, regardless of the melanin dominance that appear in their skin, it is likely they are human beings. A different species with similar genetics. Personal development time can be used to engage in individualized liberation campaign activities, for yourself, not a group activity. Also, be conscientious about exploiting situations and Earth beings for money, especially in the name of self-preservation. That is the nature of many Earth beings, consumed with greed, ambition, and self-preservation, but they are a different species. Having this type of attitude is the reason many indigenous Earthborn inhabitants will lose their immunity and right to ascend in the event. Indigenous Earthborn inhabitants are connected to a so-called star family, based on channeled information. They are definitely not the so-called Anunnaki, the devolved dysfunctional bloodline from Nibiru. Unfortunately, many indigenous Earthborn inhabitants may not qualify to ascend with our Divine Mother Earth, due to their ambitious nature and self-preservation focus, instead of unity consciousness. Again, there is no need for the obsolete oppressive constructs of the colonial de facto system. Literally, any system is better than the current AI-controlled oppressive colonial de facto system. Therefore, it was inevitable. The entire existing colonial de facto system was destined to collapse, with or without the perpetrator's compliance. In order to reset our Divine Mother Earth pursuant to the principles of the law of sacrifice, death, destruction, chaos, is necessary for life to evolve. Divine memories and supernatural spiritual gifts are hereafter activated in the indigenous Earthborn inhabitants, who are on the enlightenment path, possess the correct genes, high frequency, high vibration, in unity consciousness, and compatible with our Divine Mother Earth, to collectively elevate to a higher dimension with our Divine Mother Earth in the event. The colonial de facto perpetrators refuse to evacuate from colonial de facto organizations within 10 calendar days. Let us join our Divine Mother Earth in unity consciousness, in solidarity, and in harmony with the universal laws. Law of free will and group endeavor to synchronize, in meditation. 1. To welcome solar flares to further activate our DNA. 2. To protect our Divine Mother Earth and her organic species from further abuse. The immediate eradication of AI technology, holographic simulations. 3. For the retribution against all perpetrators, for their ongoing violations of universal laws. And 4. To manifest a harmonious planetary reset. In accordance with Universal Law's message to Galactic Federation of Light, the Galactic Federation of Light is hereby granted conditional discretion and jurisdiction to perform all necessary duties and auxiliary operations to complete the enforcement goal and objectives for each decree. During the transitional period, beginning now, until all de jure decrees have been effectuated, the only extraterrestrial presence allowed in all realms within planet Earth are the evolved Type 1, Type 2, or Type 3 civilized species, functioning as enforcement officers with the Galactic Federation of Light. Remaining in all realms within planet Earth is only evolved harmonious indigenous Earthborn inhabitants, on the enlightenment path, self-mastery, discipline, unity consciousness, and living in harmony with nature, and evolved harmonious organic species, which includes non-genetically modified organisms, vegetation, and indigenous organic species, i.e. wildlife. Message to colonial de facto system perpetrators based on channeled information and personal scientific research. Human beings do not have the ability to ascend, exist beyond the planetary purge. Not strictly on the fact that most human beings are melanin recessive, but the fact that humanity was genetically engineered as characters to reinforce and perpetuate the defective colonial de facto system, and due to their inherent nature, greed, ambition, and focus on self-preservation, not to mention the fact that humanity is not compatible with nature, and because of their genetic manipulations with multiple species, defects could manifest at any time, meaning human beings could potentially devolve to the dominant characteristic and attribute of the species the human was spliced with. However, there are exceptions. Disclaimer: I have some biases based upon life experiences. My personal belief is, planet Earth will not purge the innocent, but may conditionally adopt some human beings to remain on planet Earth after the reset, who do not meet the genetic qualification, i.e. melanin dominance, but based on their level of unity consciousness and enlightenment may make an exception, relocate them to a separate exiled realm until self-extinction, notwithstanding the fact that the devolved invading aliens were likely melanin dominant, but perpetrated the most unconscionable of violations against planet Earth. However, their fate is set for retribution. Soon you will be in a position to make several important decisions that will ultimately determine your fate, similar to indigenous Earthborn inhabitants, whose divine abilities are being activated. Some human beings, with their limited biological connections with planet Earth, are also experiencing a consciousness awakening to refrain from barbaric actions against planet Earth and her organic species. This explains the reason AI programs, clones, humanoids, and NPCs are being used to engage in unconscionable actions against Earth beings. It is probable that most of the invading alien perpetrators are currently not on planet Earth. Therefore, the invading alien perpetrators may not have immediate access to the 10-day eviction evacuation notice posted at a de facto organization on March 21, 2023 Gregorian. Therefore, this message applies to Earth beings, agents and proxies of the invading alien perpetrators, who are employed by all organizations or systems within the colonial de facto system because, directly or indirectly, you support and perpetuate the colonial de facto system. And you have more to lose with the liberation of planet Earth. Colonial de facto perpetrators, you are complicit and an accessory in universal law violations against planet Earth, indigenous Earthborn inhabitants, organic Earth species, and humanity, for millenniums. Colonial de facto perpetrators and their ancestors hoarded wealth and resources, for which they continue to experience a privileged lifestyle, to the detriment of planet Earth and her indigenous Earthborn inhabitants, which will conclude with them being permanently purged and banished from planet Earth. Ironically, you cannot take your hoarded wealth with you. Colonial de facto perpetrators reinforce the colonial de facto system every time you use the phrases, "I am only following orders and I am doing my job." You perpetuate the oppressive colonial de facto system. The issue is, you knowingly performed a task or a job, to the detriment, harm, injury, damage to other beings, planet Earth, indigenous Earthborn inhabitants, and the organic Earth species. Now it is time for retribution. According to channeled information, many colonial de facto perpetrators are currently engaged in unconscionable organ harvesting operations. Knowingly and unknowingly, colonial de facto perpetrators have a moral obligation to expose and testify these organ harvesting operations to reduce the level of retribution you will receive. Many Earth beings justify organ harvesting as ethical and moral because either they received payment for the organs or they compensated the donors for the organs. Soon these Earth beings will choose to be lobotomized when their conscience convicts them for their unethical deeds. Regardless, the fate of retribution is pending. Planet Earth is a free will planet. Therefore, you had the opportunity to walk away from the colonial de facto system, but you capitulated for self-preservation. For that reason you will receive your full retribution without sympathy for your justified self-preservation attitude.